When it comes to wind, anglers fall into one of two categories. They love it or hate it. Well, we are going to take a look underwater at what wind can do for your bass fishing and also break down two scenarios dealing with the wind and one for those of you who just don't like fishing in it. Well, let's go ahead and start with that one first. I have always been a firm believer that when you get 3 days of a consistent weather pattern or conditions, that is when fishing is the best. Here's one. Because things have stabilized, the food chain is set in more predictable places, and the bass have positioned themselves where their success rate is highest. But how often does the weather behave for 3 straight days? Well, let's look at this situation first. We can see here that for the last 2 days, the wind has been coming from primarily the southwest and even south-southwest. But yesterday, the wind was consistently over 10 miles per hour, and the gusts were getting close to that 20 mile per hour mark. That is important to note. I keep that 10 mile per hour threshold in mind as the point where I believe the wind is strong enough to really make things happen, especially if you prefer to fish shallow. Well, today the wind switched completely out of the opposite direction, which makes this island here a perfect area to fish the leeward side, where the previous 2 days it was getting hit consistently with the wind. And look what happens. When we take a dive underwater, we can see the food chain is densely packed right where the wind pushed things shallow the previous 2 days. And so far today, the wind has not pushed all of this life out of the area yet. You can just see different species of young panfish, bluegills, and crappies, and there are even baby bass roaming around here. Well, whenever we get this kind of concentration of prey, you know there is going to be bass around. And it didn't take long, and I started to see bass roaming through the area. Now, I'm pretty shallow here, just in a few feet of water, and odds are if I spent more time here and followed this weed line to where it breaks off into deeper water, a better quality of fish would be hanging there. But I really wanted to show you the massive amount of life the wind pushed into this area. So for anglers that prefer to stay out of the wind, do a little homework and see how it has been blowing the last couple of days. When you are selecting your leeward spot, when you're out there, choose one that was consistently getting hit by the wind the previous day, 2 days, or 3 days. It will make a noticeable difference of where prey is positioned. Now, for those anglers that don't mind the wind, keep that 10 mile per hour threshold in mind. When we can focus on areas that are getting hit like that, it will definitely get things going. And the plus side is, while you will be able to still find and catch bass throughout many parts of the lake, the wind-driven food chain often means the bites are more aggressive, and that is always fun. Ooh. Right on that edge. What a day. That's a good one. That's the best one I've had today. Nice one. Nice, nice, nice. So think about 10 miles per hour. It just seems to be that magic number for me. And of course, there are times when it's just too windy, and that is when I revert back to strategy number 1. And hey, if you want to watch a video that just shows a pile of bass on an unexpected piece of cover and just how many of them are down there and how they're using that cover, go ahead and check this one out right here. And make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.